this week I want to talk about something that's close to home for me. Probably not something that anybody else has even heard about. Imagine getting another day to your weekend. I mean, it's different to think about in college, but because a lot of us have another day to our weekend. But imagine in high school. Imagine you're in this little town, and then all of a sudden you get Fridays off. No school on Fridays. You have an extra day to your weekend. I mean, what would you do? I mean, you could exercise, you could ride your bike, you could work. I mean, more hours to work. You could do a million things. Sounds great, right? It's not. In Oklahoma, it's really sad. They're cutting back schools. They had to take an entire day off of the school schedule because they are lacking funds so much. They have no money to teach these kids. And when these kids don't have a place to go other than their homes, it's bad. They don't ride their bikes. They don't go to work an extra day. They go home to houses where they don't have food to eat. They go home to parents who are abusing drugs, to parents who have boyfriends who hit them, to parents who hit them and abuse them and neglect them. For the kids in Oklahoma, in these small towns, school is like a sanctuary because school is where they get to eat. When I went to school there, I was one of the 5 kids in the entire middle school, which in its defense only had about 200 kids. But I was one of the 5 kids that paid for her lunch because I wasn't on assisted lunch. And everyone else did because they were poor. They have no money. I mean, these kids go to school because this is the only place that they get food. And then a lot of times they go home and their parents are getting high or not home, or they go home and they get hit. And I'm not talking about all of these kids because, I'm sure that there are some kids who go home to loving homes and they eat because their parents work and try so hard to get them to have a good life. But a lot of times in these small communities, it's really sad because all of these things are getting taken away from them. School is getting taken away from them. Their school, their sanctuary. How would you feel? I would feel distraught. I would feel defeated. I would feel like I had nowhere to go and no rights. I would feel like I would want to give up and just be who my parents were and stay here, stay in this little town, raise my kids exactly like my parents did. Speaking as someone who would live in a small town. This wasn't my personal experience. But I knew plenty of kids who went home to these things. My own parents, my dad, had a horrible home life. He didn't have food to eat. And he went home to parents who were doing drugs and neglecting him because he lived in this small little town in Oklahoma. But he went to school 5 days a week and he got to eat there. But now these kids are going to school 4 times a week and they're going to continue to cut back because no one cares, because no one's saying anything, because for some reason they think that cutting back on the schools is the first thing that they should do. I mean, they're losing teachers. Teachers need jobs. Teachers already make horrible salaries, but you're not going to get a teacher who wants to work 4 days a week. It's destroying these kids. These kids deserve school. They deserve their sanctuary, and it's being taken away from them, and it's sad. And I feel horrible for them. And I wish there was something I could do. And I guess this is me trying to do something because no one knows about this. No one's talking about it. I want to get the word out there because I want people to see that this is not okay. This is wrong. This needs to be fixed.